Hey, welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about Beholgar on the Nintendo Switch. Beholgar, at first glance, if any of you are familiar with the fairly obscure 8-bit NES Conan game, it's pretty rare. Beholgar reminds me of maybe what that game should have been, because I love Conan and I love NES games, but the Conan NES game is, honestly, I think it's pretty terrible. Beholgar, in my opinion, Beholgar really has a lot of potential, but does it realize that potential? Well, let's find out. And also, at first glance, Beholgar might remind you of another game that I reviewed not terribly long ago called Roar of Revenge. Though Beholgar requires a bit more backtracking than Roar of Revenge, which, that was a fairly linear action game. Beholgar was developed by just two people. One was responsible for the programming and the art assets, and the other was responsible for the audio. It does feature some pretty decent chiptunes and a pretty neat little NES-inspired art style, as I alluded to earlier. However, ultimately, I think that Roar of Revenge is the better game. And a big part of the reason for that is that Beholgar appears to suffer from one of the cardinal sins of video games. At least on the Switch it does. I don't know how it performs on other systems. Hopefully it performs better. And so the issue that we're looking at here is, it has some technical issues that actually impact the gameplay in a very negative way. You know me, I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to technical issues as long as they don't affect the gameplay. But when the issues start to move into that territory and have those effects, it's basically unforgivable. Specifically, the game will hiccup or momentarily freeze on a semi-regular basis while you're playing it. And when this happens, there isn't even necessarily a lot happening on screen. And to add to that, it will often happen in the middle of a jump. Like your character's jumping and then the image freezes for a second or has a little hiccup. And, that's a real problem because there's a lot of insta-kill spikes on the ground for you to land on and a lot of bottomless pits, or like a fair number of bottomless pits. Basically, there's a lot of opportunities for that little hiccup to cause some real problems, which is just not acceptable. I'm sorry, it's a decent design, it's a nice try at a decent game, but that problem is just, well, I already said it. It's unacceptable. So basically, you'll be in the middle of a jump. Like I said, the game will freeze, and by the time it catches up with itself, you're dead. This sort of thing should not be an issue in 2022. I was able to finish this game, but then I deleted it from my system. If it weren't broken, I probably would keep it around and play it from time to time, because fundamentally, it's a decent little game, but not with those issues. Forget it. Beholgar sells for $10 on the eShop, but honestly, who cares? This is a very clear avoid. Well, I hope I've saved you some time and money. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye-bye.